Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Lord Zone, and today I'll be explaining why Rhaenyra is the villain in House of the Dragon. I hope this will help all you Team Black bandwagons out there realize that you're rooting for the wrong side. Before I start, I'd like to give a shout out to two fellow anti-Rhaenyra YouTubers, whose videos helped light the way for me. The Critical Maester and the Empyrean Speaks. Go check out their channels if you're looking for great House of the Dragon content. Now back to the video. Rhaenyra is beloved by most House of the Dragon fans. They see her as the hero who needs to take back her rightful throne from her drunken usurper half-brother Aegon. The reason why Rhaenyra is seen in such a positive light is because she's the main character, which tricks the viewers into thinking that whatever she does is right and whoever opposes her is in the wrong, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Rhaenyra was left as the only child of King Viserys Targaryen, after her mother Aemma Arryn died in childbirth to her brother Baelon, who died shortly after. This left Viserys' younger brother, Prince Daemon Targaryen, as the apparent heir. However, after Viserys found out about Daemon mocking Prince Baelon, calling him the heir for a day, he banished Daemon from King's Landing and named Rhaenyra his heir instead. This was the first time in the history of Westeros where a woman was named heir to the Iron Throne. Viserys ended up marrying Alicent Hightower, Rhaenyra's best friend, in order to produce more Targaryens because their line was vulnerable. After Alicent gave birth to a son named Aegon, many in the realm, including Rhaenyra, thought Viserys was going to change his choice of heir from Rhaenyra to Aegon. Rhaenyra therefore became envious of her brother and cold and distant towards her father, even though he never changed his mind about wanting Rhaenyra to succeed him. Being not just of noble blood, but also of royal blood, as well as being named heir to the Iron Throne, comes with responsibilities. You must marry to build alliances, but more importantly, to produce heirs. Viserys planned to marry Rhaenyra to Lord Jason Lannister of Casterly Rock. House Lannister is the richest and one of the most powerful houses in the Seven Kingdoms, so this would have been a great alliance. However, when Rhaenyra found out, she complained to her father and said how she does not want to get married. Marrying is essential for the heir, especially when many lords and ladies could end up supporting Aegon over her when he comes of age. Viserys later apologizes to her for the Jason Lannister match, and tells her to go on tour and choose which lord she wants to marry. However, while on tour, she ended it early with 2 months remaining and returned to King's Landing. Rhaenyra has always been extremely privileged. She's a Targaryen princess, becomes the first woman ever to be named heir to the Iron Throne, gets to choose who she marries, and still complains about it and plays the victim. In Westeros and medieval times, the daughters of lords and kings usually do not have any choice of who to marry, but it gets picked for them by their father. Rhaenyra had a great number of men to choose from and rejected all of them before leaving early. If this doesn't show how spoiled and entitled she is, I don't know what does. After Daemon returned from the Stepstones, he took Rhaenyra to a pleasure house. She was about to lose her virginity to him before he was thrown off and left her there. When she returned to her chambers, she took Criston Cole's helmet, luring him into her room. When he tried to walk out, she closed the door, and when he tried to take his helmet back from her, she kissed him and started taking off her clothes. You can see that he was uncomfortable, but Rhaenyra didn't care. Criston was an honorable knight of the Kingsguard, and he took his vows very seriously. The Kingsguard are forbidden by oath to father children, so they are to remain celibate. Criston planned on staying true to that. House Cole is a very minor house from the Stormlands. George R. R. Martin has even confirmed that the black circles on House Cole's sigil are supposed to resemble actual coal. Criston being named to the Kingsguard meant everything to him and his family. It was his whole life. But when Rhaenyra tried to seduce him, it put him in a tough situation. Because if he refuses her, it risks her getting his white cloak removed, so he gave in to her seduction. Later, he asks her to run away and marry him, and she declines, but says she would still want to keep a secret relationship with him. The reason why he was so hurt by this wasn't because she didn't want to run away and eat oranges with him, but it was because Rhaenyra who comes from a legendary bloodline and who has been spoiled all her life, used Kristen, an honorable man from a minor house, as her whore because she was horny and forced him to break his Kingsguard vows. He feels like a poor, righteous guy who just got played by a spoiled rich girl. When Alicent overhears the rumor that Rhaenyra and Daemon were coupling in a pleasure house, she confronts her. Rhaenyra denies the accusation, which is partially true, since her and Daemon never had sex. However, she swore on her dead mother to Alicent that she remained a maiden, which was a blatant lie, since she lost her maidenhead to Criston Cole. If you remember, Alicent and Rhaenyra shared an emotional bond over both their mothers being dead. Rhaenyra just lied to her best friend on her dead mother's life, whereas Alicent never would have done the same. Rhaenyra was finally married to her cousin, Laenor Velaryon. However, their 3 children, Jacaerys, Lucerys, and Joffrey, are clearly not Laenor's kids, but are the bastard sons of Sir Harwin Strong. But Rhaenyra tries to play them off as true-born Velaryons, as if anyone won't notice. This is a big deal in Westeros, where marriages and bloodlines are the foundation of inheritance. Fans get angry that Joffrey, Tommen, and Myrcella are played off as true-born Baratheons, but they brush it off when it's about Rhaenyra's kids. Now, for people who say Rhaenyra couldn't have Laenor's kids because he was gay, this isn't an excuse. Just because a man is gay doesn't mean he can't impregnate a woman. It might not be enjoyable, but it is definitely doable. Aemond has a great reason to be angry about this. House Velaryon is an ancient, proud, powerful house, and to see Driftmark get taken from his family and given to a bastard of House Strong, it's outrageous. When he has his outburst calling Rhaenyra's children bastards, Daemon just kills him. Aemond gets killed for trying to protect the honor of his house, and it's all because Rhaenyra had an affair. When the Targaryens and Velaryons were gathered at Driftmark for the funeral of Laenor's sister and Daemon's wife Laena Velaryon, that night, while Rhaenyra was having another affair, this time with her uncle Daemon, her half-brother Aemond claimed Laena's dragon Vhagar. Aemond was bullied for not having a dragon by his older brother Aegon, as well as Rhaenyra's kids Jacaerys and Lucerys. Aemond never retaliated, he just took the insults, but his anger kept boiling inside him. After he dismounted Vhagar, he got confronted by his cousins Baela and Rhaena, Daemon and Laena's daughters. Baela says, "Vhagar was my mother's dragon, she was mine to claim." To which Aemond responds, "Then you should have claimed her." He is absolutely right here. Dragons were not passed down from mother to daughter or father to son. They went to whichever Targaryen claimed them after their previous rider died. But out of jealousy, Baela, Rhaena, and also Jace and Luke attacked Aemond, and now Aemond has to fight a 4v1. They attacked him first, so now he has to defend himself. Aemond ends up calling the boys bastards before Jace pulls out a knife. Jacaerys was trying to kill Aemond. The knife gets knocked out of his hands before Luke uses it to take out Aemond's eye. Then they're all brought before the adults to discuss the incident. It really annoys me how people blame Aemond for this. Aemond was bullied for not having a dragon. Then when he finally claims one, he gets jumped, attacked, and gets his eye taken out by his bullies. When they were gathered together with everyone else, Jace and Luke's excuse was that Aemond called them bastards. Guess what? They are bastards. So they can bully Aemond all they want, but when he finally says something back, they take his eye out. When Rhaenyra tells Viserys that Aemond called her son bastards, she suggests that he should be sharply questioned on where he heard that. If you read the books, you might know that the phrase sharply questioned implies torture. So Rhaenyra is essentially saying that her brother, who just lost an eye, should be tortured for calling her bastard children bastards. The show then portrays Alicent as the crazy one for being upset, even though Rhaenyra and her kids are most certainly the ones in the wrong. When Rhaenyra and Daemon decided they wanted to marry each other, they devised a plan to stage Laenor's death. They had Laenor flee Westeros across the narrow sea and killed an innocent man in Driftmark and put his body in the fire, so no one would be able to tell that it wasn't Laenor. This caused devastation to Corlys and Rhaenys, who had just lost their other child, Laena, and it was all because of Rhaenyra's selfish, lustful desires. Now let's compare Rhaenyra and Alicent. Rhaenyra was given the choice of who to marry and complained and played the victim, whereas Alicent was forced to marry Viserys, who was an older guy that she wasn't attracted to, but she did her duty regardless. Rhaenyra would have sex with whoever she wanted, even after she was married, and because of this mothered 3 bastards. Alicent never had any affairs but was a good wife to Viserys, providing him with true-born children and caring for him as his health dwindled. But apparently, Rhaenyra is in the right and Alicent is in the wrong. It just doesn't make sense. Rhaenyra has always been a spoiled, selfish, immoral person who has no regard for anyone else but herself. I hope this video helped you to see Rhaenyra for the true villain she really is. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.